Struggling with defiant or destructive behavior? Do you feel like you're at your wits' end dealing with meltdowns, refusals, even vindictive behavior? You're not alone, and there absolutely is a way forward. We are Bonnie and Thomas Leota. We bring more than 60 years of experience in terms of personal development and leadership. We are the authors of Raising Healthy, Happy, Cooperative Kids and also the Learn to Speak Kid book. And if you're actually looking for peace, harmony, cooperation, and you want to raise children who are self sufficient, independent, confident, cooperative, loving, kind, and children who look at you in absolute awe because they are so in love with you, these are the two parenting books that you'll need. You'll never need another one. Here's a couple of testimonies. Thank you for obeying God. I have taught for 19 years and have been longing to know a better way to parent and teach. I currently have 3 degrees and soon a 4th and have never come across any parenting information this real, relevant, and powerful. Laura Lappin says, Bonnie and Thomas, I love your books and your Creating Champions for Life ministry. I know your techniques in being a proactive parent will benefit my daughter's family. I only wish your program was around 30 years ago. Thank you so much. What a great adventure. There's so much to learn. I love this process. That's from Yvonne. And I'm so excited. I've been doing what I'm learning in your course. You are really God's instrument. Kind regards. Kind regards, Catalina. So this is live Q&A. We're here to answer hard parenting questions. So if you got them, bring them. What is your biggest parenting struggle? What are questions that you've been asking that you've never got answers for? Now is your opportunity. And we wait for people to find us live. Tom, did you have something you wanted to share before we get into today's questions?
Well, first and foremost, congratulations on taking the first step to any kind of healing. You're just doing something. The fact that you overcame many different obstacles to actually be here or engage. Isn't it amazing, Bonnie, how the public speaking seems to be one of the biggest fears of almost anybody and everybody?
Yes, we'd rather be in the casket than speaking for the casket.
Giving the eulogy. Yes,
right.
we'd rather be in the casket than giving the eulogy.
That's right.
And many of us have gone through the process of, oh my gosh, why didn't you ask any questions when you had a chance? Well, I didn't want to feel stupid, or somebody was going to think less of me, or maybe better yet, the fear of someone laughing. So many of these things that we are doing today, congratulations, as you're moving into a new way that's not only going to be benefiting you, but our genius offsprings have been asking for it since they started to go, wah, and ask the best question in the world, why?
Absolutely. So just so you know, Thomas has worked with more than 150,000 students during his time with Little League Baseball, working at Nintendo, recorded 140,000 calls with disgruntled kids and teenagers looking to win the video game. And that's a lot, because have you ever tried to help your child in the middle of a meltdown know how to play the video game? It's not an easy route, but he's most famous for his award-winning after-school program where he literally had thousands of these kids, and I'm going to call them these kids, the strong-willed kids, the difficult kids, the kids that all the other local daycares had kicked out or didn't know how to deal with, were sent to Thomas's after school program because he had developed a reputation for fixing these kids. And I gotta say, 18 years after my dream of finding a way to empower all children of the world by the age of 12, I was in despair. I was hopeless. I was winning in my life. At 18 years in personal development leadership did me very well, but I was at home failing with my kids, in fetal position, crying in the bathroom because my 4 kids at ages 6 to 12 were running my home. I have since learned after meeting Thomas and seeing his proactive style of actually speaking with the kids, of empowering kids, that he was my God's gift. He was my dream come true when it came to parenting, and following his strategies, following his methodology in my home. I watched all 4 of my children, all different personalities, all different ages, all dealing with different mental health issues, completely transform. What I saw was magical. I saw them wake up with a new zest for life. I saw them begin to work with each other in harmony. I came downstairs one day and my 12, almost 13-year-old son had emptied the fridge out. And I was like, what do you got going on there? And he goes, well, something got spilled in it and I noticed it needed to be cleaned out. Like, who else has a 13-year-old that just cleans out the fridge because they noticed it needed to be done? My girls were making me breakfast in bed to earn sleepovers. And that might sound a little bit counterintuitive to you. Well, what do you mean they need to earn a sleepover? I tell you what, they were never so happy making me breakfast in bed and sweeping that kitchen floor as when they had an opportunity to step up in their own lives. After 6 months of doing my due diligence, what other parenting philosophy includes goals, includes success principles like creating a master plan, empowering children to rise up. I couldn't find any. My house transformed. I had over 100 sticky notes all over my office and my computer with this very special, unique language with my children. And I just decided every mom and dad in the whole world deserve to know about creating champions for life. So if you've been looking for answers, you're in the right place at the right time with the right people. We can bring you the information, but really it's going to be up to you to dive in deep, to dig in, to change some beliefs we have about parenting. We're going to share the truth with you today. We're going to share things that you've probably never heard before. So if you came to just be a fly on the wall and hear what we have to say, go for it. And if you have some questions to ask, go for it as well. And I'm just going to be looking at my phone a little bit because for whatever reason, the comments aren't coming up here, but they're coming up here. So don't think that I am playing on my phone or sending text. All right, Holly, welcome. Thank you for being here. She says, so I have a question. How do I get Drake, my 9-year-old, to stop disrespecting me? It is a big issue. That's a great question. You're not the only one dealing with what we call disrespect. We hear that on almost every single phone call that we do. What's the first thing that comes to your mind, Thomas, when she asked that question? How do I get Drake, my 9-year-old son, to stop disrespecting me?
Okay. Well, the first thing would be is let's all agree that something, whether we can see it or not, is making this happen. Right? There's some interaction. But the other part is to think is, what if you can't stop him from being disrespectful ever? And there might be a better time or place for it to happen. That's kind of where we want to start to go with this idea. You can't get him to stop, but if you can get him to actually show respect, maybe that's just a missing life skill that is yet to be transferred.
I love that, Tom, because what typically do we do when we have a child who's being disrespectful? We come in, we correct them in the moment. We offer some sort of consequence for being disrespectful. But I want you to think about this from one mom to another. Does your child, who is, what did you say? He's 9 years old. Does he know what respect means from your perspective? Now, stick with us. We're going somewhere. Can a 5-year-old, 7-year-old, 15-year-old fast forward and know all the life skills we need to know to use our manners, to be respectful, why it would be important to be respectful? And if you were to say to your child, I'm not talking to you till you're respectful, or that's disrespectful, so you're going to lose your blank, your iPad or whatever, is that actually teaching the 9-year-old what respect looks like? So I want you to do this. Write down on a piece of paper, what does respect look like to you? How would you like your children to respond to you? And then finally, what's in it for them? Now, the parenting advice out there is like, we don't use rewards to get children to behave. And we don't, because when we're talking about offering a reward, that would be considered a bribe. In scripture, bribing is a sin. In real life, if you bribe a judge or you bribe a police officer, what happens? Go ahead and type in the comments. I want to know how many kids you have. Where are you coming in from in the world? Communicate with us, cooperate, comment and participate with us so that we can actually talk back and forth. So I'll be watching Holly if you have any more things to add here. But the key is here is to think. When we look at our children, instead of looking them through the, oh, that's a little bugger, he's just being vindictive and he's pushing buttons and he's having meltdowns and that's their job to have meltdowns, we need to reframe. Look at our little geniuses as if they are just looking to navigate life. They are just missing the life skills that they need. Now, we've been taught to parent completely backwards. If you were to have a remote control with your TV and you put the batteries in backwards and you pointed the remote to the TV and it didn't work, would we go get a new remote and do the same thing? Would we try to fix that remote, or would we turn the batteries around? Going from reactive to proactive. So my advice here, do not take anything that your child does personally. Rewind back in time when your 9-year-old was 9 months old, 9 days old. And we have this little newborn baby, or we have this little smiling baby. And we love that baby so much. And the baby can do absolutely no wrong. Are you with me on this? If you're with me, say yes. Mm-hmm. Why can't we look at the 9-year-old, the 12-year-old, the 15-year-old in the exact same way, through the exact same lenses? This is my little genius child. Instead of coming in with some sort of punishment, making him feel bad for something he doesn't even know what he's doing, why not give him a goal? When he asks for something, that's called a goal. Now, when they ask for anything, I want to watch TV, I want to play video games, I want iPad time, I want a cookie, whatever it is that they're asking for, it's the desire in your child's soul that's going to motivate them in the process to engage in life skills training. You can't control your child. You can't hold them down and make them learn what respect is. But it's, hey, Mom, I would want a cookie.
And I would love you to have a cookie. Could I ask you some questions about it?
You're going to guide them with questions. Tell me more about your goal. Ooh, I'm excited for you to have your goal. I'm excited for you to play video games. I'm excited for you to have that healthy cookie. I'm excited for that. So would you like me to show you how to make this goal show up for yourself? And then we are going to role play. We're going to teach them a life skill. This is how I want you to talk to me. Now you need to show them. So I would like you to stand like this. Let's make eye contact. And you get my attention and you ask me like this. If I ask you something, so now I'm talking to my child. If I ask you something, I want you to respond exactly like this. Yes, ma'am, I'll get right on it. And when you do that, that's called respectful. And then you have to show them what disrespect looks like. When you do this, and you roll your eyes and you throw things, that's called disrespect. So what I'm saying here is we need to go back. Like when you hear get on their level, no amount of eye level is going to make your child see the future or see the life skill, right? Are you with me on this? But if you role play with your child and you show them exactly this type of behavior is called disrespect. And this type of behavior is going to earn you 10 minutes on the video game. Would you like longer on the video game? Well, yes, I would. Would you like me to show you how to get longer on the video game? Yes. Answer me like this. Smile on the face. Yes, ma'am, I'll get right on it. And da 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 da. right? There's some thinking involved here, some planning involved here, some life skills training involved here, and it's super proactive and super empowering.
Yes. I remember hearing that adage where it was like, well, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink.
Right.
We can lead you to knowledge, but we can't make you think. And when you just take a moment, you see something you don't like, you hear something you don't like, is that positive or negative? And when you come in telling them they can't, don't, won't, for whatever moral, ethical reasons that it is, when you got something negative and you bring them together, I'm not saying it's a definition of insanity, but when would negative and negative come together ever be positive? So if you took a moment to just pause and think, nobody was talked into walking. So the game monkey see, monkey do is how we began to get incentive to walk. And if we can believe this to be true on some level, what way are they seeing? Now, this is going to be counterintuitive to a lot of us at first, but to just be open and think, what way are they mimicking how you, mom or dad, are getting their attention? Is it the barge into their room without a knock and go, hey, you got to be getting to blank, 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 school, work, go eat, whatever it would be? And the power of monkey see, monkey do is we see something we don't like because they're mimicking back what they see, and that's where it's coming from. But if you reframe it and be like, they're just mimicking and demonstrating how they're doing it in their own unique way, and they were promised that somebody would see their greatness. All this yelling is just getting my attention because they learned it from who? And when we can change the way, as Bonnie said, if you go in and you are demonstrating the proper procedure of what you would like them to mimic, demonstrate that, that's the positive side. So now the child has two choices: yell, kick, and spit in your face to get your attention, or stand at attention stance, like up, standing up, and being able to wait 5, 10, or 20 seconds until somebody acknowledges you. You show, not tell. Think of like duct tape. So monkey see, monkey do can give him now two options. So one would be with a smile, one would be with a frown. This is usually one of the biggest ingredients or a missing battery in the remote called parenting.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I want to say good morning, Carlos, Jessica, Kaya, 6 kids, 2, 4, 6, 11, and 11. My goodness, welcome. Jessica, Hope, Sharon, Crow, good morning. Message from Arizona, 3 kids, 4, 5, and 6. Man, you were busy there for a few years. I struggle when they all want or need something at the same time. I wish I could multiply myself. Well, if you stick with us, we'll show you how to create a harmonious home environment. Can you imagine what it would be like if all of your children, your spouse, and yourself worked together in harmony, like a fine-tuned Swiss watch? Now, this is unheard of. So you might hear us say that and go, well, you don't know what my kids are like. My kid's totally vindictive and violent, and there's no way this will work. Well, you guys, there's only a certain amount of universal principles to exist on our planet. And I want you to think about this. How many, notes? How many notes are there in music? Do we know the answer? How many notes are there in music? Go ahead and put it in the comments. How many notes do we have in music, and how many letters do we have in the alphabet that make up every single word we would use? I'd be curious. I want to say hello to Melissa McKay. Thank you for joining. My daughter 8 turns to aggression or violence when she is told a different answer than what she wants to hear. It's brutal to deal with. Yes, it is brutal to deal with. I've lived both sides trying to do this whole attachment parenting, gentle parenting, basically authoritative parenting, dressed up in a different outfit. I tried all that. And you're right, nothing worked. I listened to the psychologist, the school pediatrician, the everywhere. Nobody had actual solutions until I met Tom. And that's the only reason that we're here, to help you, because we can see through new lenses. And once you see it, you can never unsee it. Aaron Strand answered 12. 12 musical notes to make trillions of songs since the beginning of time. 12 musical notes. Thank you. 24, Nicole. Hi, Nicole. Is there 24 notes? Because there's 26 letters in the alphabet, isn't there?
Yes, you might be thinking 12, 12, but there's 12 notes in all of our music. Quincy Jones, who's quite the phenomenal musician, he also shared in one of his great stories of, look how amazing, like say geniuses, we all have the exact same 12 notes. We all have the access to the same 12 principles. And as we embrace our own uniqueness and we put them in different sequential orders, that's the creative fun. We call it play. And with that being said, all the music that we all hear, love, and enjoy since the beginning of time comes from those same 12.
Yes.
So we are all geniuses here to embrace our own uniqueness. And if you're just missing the notes, would your music be limited? You bet. If you're missing some of the principles, would your parenting on the brighter side be missing? Absolutely. And what if it was that simple? Didn't say easy.
It's not easy.
But it's this simple.
The reason why it's not easy is because a human being is only as good as what they've been taught. And as a human being, we have free will to choose who we want to listen to and the actions that we want to take. There's a universal truth. It's scriptural. It's called the law of sowing and reaping. Sowing and reaping. So, Melissa McKay, I'm talking to you here, but every single mom and dad who's listening, every day I am asked to go and buy something at the dollar store or the 7-Eleven. Every single day. It's exhausting. Well, you've been taught that parenting should be exhausting, yes? Have you been taught that? Put it in the comments. You've been taught that it's normal for your children to have meltdowns. You've been taught that we need to make sure our children understand what no means, because they can't always get what they want. Now, I want you to imagine for a second that your child is not some sort of alien sent from a different planet with a missing frontal lobe cortex, and that, what if your little 1-year-old, 3-year-old, 5-year-old, 9-year-old was a human being with missing life skills? Your 15-year-old is going to be different than your 25-year-old. Yes, absolutely. But now I'm 52 and I'm way different than I was at 25. And my frontal lobe has been completely developed now for 27 years. But I'm still growing and changing. I don't know where we ever got the idea that once you hit the age of 18 or 25, you were done learning. All right. So we have been conditioned that parenting should be hard. We've been conditioned that it should be exhausting. Now we've been conditioned to answer yes or no. But what if your children asking to go buy something at the dollar store every single day was their way of telling you, I'm ready to learn how to make things show up without you?
Yes. The kick is up and it's good.
Okay. That's the truth. So this is why we teach, this is called a goal. Now, as an adult, we go to work to get paid to pay the bills, yes, to support our family. But as a child, somehow we have the idea that they should just follow directions and listen because we're the adult and they're the child, and they should just do what we tell them to do. But ultimately, would you like to raise a child who is an independent thinker, who is self-sufficient, who is goal and solution oriented, who is respectful, who knows I want a car when I'm 16. And because my mom taught me about goals my entire life and showed me a master plan on how to achieve things in my life, now I want a car. That's called a goal. We create a plan. What are you going to do? Well, you got to make some money. So you're going to have to work. This teaches work ethic. This teaches self-discipline. This teaches respect. It teaches responsibility. It teaches all of these characteristics that we want our kids to have. So I'm going to ask you right now in this moment to reframe your thinking from I'm in control of my child's actions and belongings to it's my job to teach my children I am in control of my actions and my belongings. I am in control of what I make show up in my life or not. My mom doesn't control me. My mom's not my staff sergeant here to put a box around me to conform me. No, we are our children's trusted advisors, and they are counting on us to show them how the world works. They're counting on us to believe in them. Okay, this is first and foremost. If you have nothing else coming out from today, except for the thought that my child is capable. My child is capable of learning self-control. My child is capable of doing things on their own. We have clients who have 3-year-olds who do their own laundry. Everything that these children make show up in their life, they make themselves show up in their life. It's so freeing for you as a mom, and it's so empowering for children to know that their inner desires, their thoughts, their feelings matter. When you can let go, cut that umbilical cord, and trust in your child. Now, are you going to know how to do all 12 principles today? Well, if I handed you a piano and said there's 12 notes, learn them. Could you learn how to play a piano in a day? And you know, and I know the answer is absolutely no. We can't learn how to play piano in a day. And you're not going to learn how to run the Creating Champions for Life 12 principles to create harmony in your home like a fine-tuned Swiss watch in a day. Does this make sense? All right. We've been working with my daughter for 4 years through play-based programs, behavior clinics, and more. Her social emotional piece, life skills, is a big struggle for her. She is very resourceful and entrepreneurial focused, but this social emotional place and aggression is not positive. No, it's not positive. We have clients, Melissa, who come to us after spending $30,000 on counseling and therapy to help their 4 children. We have families who have come to us with occupational therapy, speech therapy, play therapy, behavioral therapy, spending almost $1,500 a month on therapy with no change in their child who they were being told cannot control himself, who actually went for an MRI and was the most calm, still patient the MRI person had ever had, including children and adults. Your child is capable. We've just kind of operating from the outside in. We're looking at these little children as if there's something wrong with them, and we're trying to fix them with behavioral therapy when all they need is for us to be more godly in our homes. And what I mean by that, I'm not talking religion. What I'm talking about is free will. What I'm talking about is teaching our children the laws of sowing and reaping, teaching our children the law of cause and effect. Stop managing our children and become leaders for our children. There is a big difference. Have you ever worked with a leader that you love to follow by choice, that you look up to in awe, versus a manager who's going, you're 3 minutes late, there's going to be a consequence? Who would you prefer to be with? What relationship would make you happier? What relationship would tick you off? If I was your manager and I followed you around all day going, you're 3 minutes late, that's going to be docked on your paycheck. When you show up early every other day for a year, 3 minutes late. Self-control. We are Christian. Yeah, we're Christian too. And we're not religious teachers. But what I'm saying here is when you think about how the world actually works, the birds eat every day. But God doesn't come down from heaven and feel responsible to provide the worms. God says, I'll provide worms every day, but you got to get out of the nest and go hunt. That's a universal truth. Okay. When the kids start being the hunters and they have inner desires, they're going to have more zest for life. They're going to wake up more excited to engage in learning life skills. Does this make sense? It's like we're coming up to Christmas. Isn't Christmas way more exciting the weeks leading up to it?
Bonnie, do you remember the first time that Zach actually made and poured his own cup of juice? And the very first time that Jenny actually made her own first grilled cheese sandwich?
Yes.
Now, let me just paint the picture here. Bonnie, very successful in her business, had a nanny who did everything for the kids. So it was all looked on the surface as, wow, doing a great job. However, if we can think of a bigger picture and go, okay, the kids are, say, 6 or 9, and you do some basic math, we all know that we're going to be leaving the house or launching out of the nest around 18, give or take a little bit. And as each ear keeps clicking, I'm now 10, 15. Internally, the child's going, well, wait a minute. I was promised that I could start to mimic and somebody would make a transition with me that you do for, and I could just watch you, monkey see, monkey do. We could do with, which is a follow the leader game, and then can do it all on your own, like Simon Says game. And if our kids are on a path going, well, wait a minute, the shot clock is winding down to where I should be able to do all these things all by myself from age 2 to 18. How much does this actually resonate that, yes, our job is to prepare, not do for. And when we can see that and go, well, wait a minute, am I always in preparing mode? Or am I just in survival mode of getting through another day? And when we can change that approach of the number one principle of knowing our role as a parent is to prepare versus postpone what is called the inevitable. If I could tell you that literally, not overnight, but literally overnight, things would shift, like changing the battery in the remote. You'd be like, go from to yay. You may not know how to work the remote yet, but when you get things in alignment, when you know your role, it's not to bribe them with strings attached called authoritative. It's not to don't do as I do, but do as I say, dictator, which is authoritarian. Or, oh my gosh, let me get that, let me get that, let me get that. Oh, you forgot your homework, let me get that, let me get that. This is called the permissive of overcompensating. When we can undo all the parenting styles that they've put us in, which are designed to create exactly what you're experiencing, that's why this works. There's no hocus pocus to it. It's very common sense, but if you've never seen it, it would be like finding the arrow in the FedEx logo for the very first time.
Which you might be doing right now, which is totally fine. Melissa, hi, Melissa. You said, my twin 5-year-olds are fighting all the time. I don't know how to tell them to stop using rude words towards each other and me or hitting each other. Right. Okay. So have you ever seen a bunch of kittens? You know, a mom has 5 kittens, and what do they do for the first few months? Right? They roll around with each other and they play with each other, and the mom kind of teaches them some things, and the cats can go be self-sufficient. So the whole idea of I don't know how them to stop using rude words. If I said to you, stop looking at me like that. Stop turning your head that way. We don't walk like that. Hurry up. Come on. Come on. No, we don't walk like that. You're going to ruin your shoes. We have 26 letters in the alphabet. I just put a whole bunch of letters there. Here's for time for comments. I want you to comment, participate with me. Do you know what I want you to do? I already know the answer. I'm waiting for comments. Do you know what I want you to do? Don't turn your head that way. Don't hold your fork like that. Stop throwing your food. Stop hitting. Stop being rude to each other.
5 plus 5 is not 11. It is a correct answer, but you'll never graduate.
Thank you, Kelly the cook. No, you'd have no idea what I want you to do. So I want you to pretend you're 5 years old. Everything you see in the world is magical and beautiful and oh my gosh. But for the last 3 to 3.5 years or so, every time you go to experience something, nope, we don't do that. No, don't do that. Don't go on the stairs. Don't touch that. Don't touch the burner. That's hot. You know what I mean?
Could be a safety issue.
So now you've got a 2 to 5 year old who's been constantly corrected in the moment. Reactive. What happens when you change your lenses around and you change it from reactive attention to proactive attention?
Like the training you get before you go on a job. There's some skills you got to be able to do.
Yes.
Like you're in a register. Well, you got to be able to know how to count, quick addition, math and subtraction, being able to do some things prior to being in the game. And a lot of us are in the game without ever practicing before a game, or even knowing that we know that we need to do tryouts before we can make it into a game.
Right. Like every single thing we've ever, driver's ed, any team sport, anything, a wedding. You have a wedding tomorrow. What do we do the night before? Do we just show up at the wedding and correct behavior in the moment? Can you imagine how chaotic the wedding would be? No, you stand over there. No, you're not supposed to be here. No, you weren't supposed to take my flowers. So-and-so was supposed to take my flowers.
Wasn't there a dress rehearsal happen before the wedding?
Right. Guys, there are places for people to be. There's a rehearsal dinner. You actually show up at the church and everybody shows up in their sweatpants and we role play what tomorrow is going to be. At least that's what I did at my wedding. Did you do the same thing? Do we role play or do we just go in and react all day long to blow ups and then think everything's going to be okay? It just makes no sense to me how we ever got here in parenting. How do we ever get here to where we think we need to follow our kids around, control their behavior, manage who they are, and then correct them in the moment? So, Melissa, I'm going to ask you this. What do you want your 5-year-olds to do? And seriously, write that down on a piece of paper. Everybody, what do I want my child, not Holly? What do I want my 9-year-old to do? How do I want them to be respectful? What exactly does that look like? You got to be playing detective here. It is not our children's job to rise up and know what it's like to be a 30-year-old managing 3 children in a home. It's our job to go back and be a 5-year-old who's just missing life skills. All they care about is what's in this world for me. How can I do it? Let me do it. Anyone ever have that problem? I do it myself. And they're 2 and they want to scramble their own eggs. I do it myself. Oh, no. It's my job to protect you and do and be and do and have everything for you. So you go over there and watch the iPad and I'll make the eggs.
And then you go from age 2 to 4, and pretty soon they're 14 to 18. And the same proper procedure that you followed is running out of time. When did they get to do it all by themselves? So if you can think about this window of them practicing their time to learn how to do what you can show them as proper procedures to be ready to go. And we have a list of 144 life skills to transfer. Well, then you're ready to go from training and to go live into the job. You're ready to finish your practice. We're ready to have a scrimmage game or get into a real life game.
Exactly right. So, moms, dads, be a detective. I want you to set back today. Look at your child through new lenses. They are capable, they don't know how. Or they are capable and they are missing a goal, because I've been taught as a mom or dad to provide everything to my kids and to give them a good life. So, what I've done completely unknowingly is, that little spark when you're starting a fire, you got this little kindling going and this little spark of flame, that's called desire. And in order to have this little spark turn into a bonfire, well, we need to feed it. We need to feed the fire, right? We need to fuel the fire. So the goal in our child's life, that video game, that television, that iPad, that cell phone, playing with friends outside, having friends come over, the snack or whatever, these are all privileges. We don't owe our children these things. We owe our children the life skills on how to make these things show up. So you have a list of goals. You're playing detective. You're going, oh, they fight all the time. They yell all the time. They're rude all the time. You're playing detective. You're going, okay, they speak to me rudely. What life skill does my child need today? Because you can't teach them how to get up in the morning, get dressed, clean up after themselves, make themselves breakfast, be at the door on time, go to school, pay attention all day long, come home, be a good boy and girl, hang your stuff up, come sit at the dinner. That's not going to happen all in one day. If your child needs 1,500,000 life skills between 0 and 18 or 0 and 18 and beyond, we got to focus on one at a time. So, Melissa, what are your child's goals that they ask for every day? And do you have 3 to 5 minute window to role play how to get along with each other, how you want them to play, which means you be a child with your children and you sit down with them and you role play. You show them what to do. Because this whole idea that we can go, stop fighting, sit down, be quiet, you just become the womp person in the corner. They have no idea what you're talking about. All they can feel is the energy that I'm in trouble again. So I must be imperfect. I'm supposed to be perfect, but I'm not perfect. It's not okay to be me. And now you've got a child who's walking around at the age of 5 going, it's not okay to be me. I'm in trouble every day, no matter what I do. I have no idea how the world works. Nobody lives in this physical body but me, but everybody keeps telling me what and who I should be. Does it not make sense that there would be upcoming behavioral disorders, mental health issues, unworthiness going on in the back of their mind? And at the age of 5 or even 10 or even 15, they can't say, I feel unworthy. I am not good enough. It's not okay to be me. I need you to guide me. I need you to show me what to do. Don't want you to do and be and have everything for me, because if you are, what the heck purpose is there for me to be alive in this world? Your 2-year-old needs a purpose, not to just be your beck and call kid and do whatever you tell them to do. We want our children to think on their own, right? To be self-sufficient, to have the life skills to survive if you disappeared tomorrow. Is this true?
I love this one right here. Melissa says, my daughter never wants to role play. Runs out the door and says, we'll do it later. I just see this amazing little genius that's learned, hey, I want to do this. I want to do that. And she's been taught or told, yeah, we can do that later. Hey, I want a cookie. No, it's going to be dinner time. That'll have to be later, right? Look how smart this is. Daughter never wants to role play, runs out and says, we'll do it later. Great. This is called a life skill of scheduling. It's all about adding the when and where would be the best time to role play. How many times does your child come to you and the timing is so far off, you're just going, man, the order of everything is just like chaos or alphabet soup. This is what Bonnie was talking about, is that you actually, the life skill called, well, when's dinner? That's an appointment. Between 6 and 6:30 is when we eat. You're either early, right on time, or late. Is this a factual truth of life? And the answer is yes. So when is it later? She validated that, yes, I do want to role play, Mom. We might have missed it because of the verbiage, but she's ready to role play. And your job is to show me this proper procedure called later, because who's older, you or her? You're the leader, so she can start to play follow the leader. It's a razor's edge difference, but so is a coin from heads to tails.
No, I love that so much, because in our chapter 10 of the Learn to Speak Kid book and program, it's called Complaining. And you're very clearly taught in there that your children don't engage because, number one, they don't know how, which means we've never taken the time to show them.
Education.
Or they don't want to, which means, if go back to the fire scenario where you've got this little spark, I want a cookie. That's like a little spark of the fire. And when we feel responsible to say yes or no, what we do is we take a blanket over to the fire. We want to turn into a bonfire, because we want our children to have a zest for life. We want them to be in the game, excited, right? To do things like role play and learn life skills. But when they get everything in the house for free, and they've always had it for free because we provided everything, what we're doing is we're taking a big, heavy blanket and we're going, phew, and then the blanket is like falling down on the little sparks of fire, and we're smothering their desire.
Motivation.
We're smothering their zest for life. So, right, she's not going to role play right when you think it's the time to role play.
Right.
It's all about like telling a good joke, right? It's going to be in the timing. Mom, I want a sleepover. Ooh, I would love for you to have a sleepover. Would you like me to show you how you can make that sleepover show up? Yeah. We need a few minutes to role play.
Yes.
This is your opportunity. You see, they're a little tiny mini yous with missing life skills.
Yes.
We've known for centuries that babies are born whole. And it's only the last couple decades we're being taught they're not. We're being taught they're missing some sort of frontal lobe till the age of 25. So you have to be their emotions and their control and their provider and their dictator and their I don't know, doing everything for them because they can't. And this is what has gotten us down a very dark road with our children.
Right. So when you have the book and you go to page 309, it's right there. You'll even see the little picture of the dad right over here. He's doing a reframe. We're doing it together. And when you read it there and you're like complaining, he's always complaining. A child's complaint can be your greatest ally. Which means, as Bonnie did, for those that are note takers, it's like me. M is motivation. It's got to come from the inside out. Or it's education, which means they really don't know that they don't know how to do it yet. Either way, you win. But when you can narrow it down to it isn't bad behavior, it's just something missing, like an ingredient when you cook. Is it motivation from them inside, wanting to do it because you catch them getting into it, so the motivation's there? Or is there a proper procedure missing that they are wanting to learn to do it by themselves, so they're preparing? And when you can summarize it that way, then you'll know exactly. Needs like a little more salt. You'll know exactly what is missing. And when you add it, isn't that what your role is all about, is to prepare them for what's coming versus postpone?
Absolutely. So Jessica, this is so funny, Jessica, stick with me. I'm going to just kind of make fun of this a little bit, because like I'm asking for a friend, and we know how that means. No, I'm just kidding. But she's asking for a friend. How do you do role play with teenagers? So this is a great question. I love it so much. Like, it honestly doesn't matter if they're 0 or 52. Like, we all, if we're gonna learn something in the world, we need to actually experience it and learn it. So when our son was 17, he had a friend whose dad passed away on Canada Day. And this little 17-year-old kid who was diagnosed with ODD and medicated since the age of 6 back in 2011 was left in an apartment with no life skills, no job, no money. And the best part was the aunts and uncles and everybody came over after his dad died, took everything of value, the bank card, the keys to the car, a gold necklace, like anything that they found in the apartment of value, they took, but they left the kid. So we were kind of in a position of, God very clearly asked us to take care of orphans, and this kid's basically an orphan. We need to help this kid. So we took him in. He was 17. Never met him before in our lives. On the top 50 most dangerous youth in Edmonton list at the local police department. Not your ideal scenario. So we bring the kid in and we make a plan. There are certain things that were expected in order for him to live here. Number one, he either had to go to school or get a job, get up every morning. He wasn't just going to sleep all day and smoke his bong, right? Like that was not going to be okay. So we made a proactive plan. Now, at one point, a part of it was that the bathroom and the bedroom are clean every morning in order to have the Wi-Fi be turned on. And I remember Tom sent him a little video in the morning. We were off to the gym and Tom sent him a video going, oh, the bathtub looks beautiful and this is great. As soon as the mirror and behind the toilet looks as good as the bathtub, we'll turn the Wi-Fi on. Well, he sent an FU text to Tom and was very rude and disrespectful. And my first reaction, okay, because we're human beings, my first reaction was, how dare he? And he's a guest in our home and all these justifications I could have had. But because of creating champions for life, my thought went to, well, maybe no one's shown him what respect looks like. So he wanted the Wi-Fi on. So he's got a little flame going on inside. He's got a little desire. So I came home and I go, you know what, Tyler, I was going to get kind of angry with you, but I realized maybe no one's told you what respect looks like. So I'm going to show you. So I gave him the phone, the cell phone, and I said, I want you to record me. Now, this type of behavior means I don't want the Wi-Fi today. And Tom's like, well, how many things in the bathroom? 5. Well, I already did it all. And I showed him exactly what he looks like when he's speaking disrespectful, with the roll of the eyes and the huffing and puffing and the stomping up the stairs. And he's following me around with a video camera laughing because he thought it was hilarious. Right. So, but he never had anyone do that before. So I said, this type of response or behavior is disrespectful. And that means I don't want the internet today. The second time that you actually say F you to Tom and you're saying, I don't want the Wi-Fi for like 2 weeks. And the third time that you choose this eye roll, slamming, stomping your feet, and I wasn't just talking, I was like literally showing him what he looked like. You're saying, I don't want the Wi-Fi anymore. I'll get my own Wi-Fi. And then I showed him what respect looks like. Oh, yep. Yes, sir. That would be 5. Big smile on my face. I'm so happy to have a bathroom to be able to use. I showed him exactly what it would look like. The whole scenario, the attitude, the face, the eyes, everything. Yes, sir. And if you miss a spot in the bathroom, this is what it looks like to be kind and respectful. And we had one more issue with him after that, where he did say, hey, I don't want the internet for a few days. And that was the only time. And now he's 20 and he says that the 5 months he lived with us changed his life. In 5 months, not knowing him from a hole in the ground till the age of 17. These principles work for every single human being, no matter how old. They work because they're principles, just like the 26 letters in the alphabet.
When Tyler gave me a hug and it was so sincere, and he goes, what really changed for me was when I could see that all the power of keeping my job, or better yet, when my job is taken from me. No, it's never taken. I created it to go away. So rather than operating in fear on the negative side, he was on the positive side going, oh my gosh, There's something I did that can bring that to me. And there's something I did that can make it go away. Then he could exercise his free will of being able to make smiles or frowns. And he named he had him as Bob and Rob. And he started to understand that Rob is the one that creates the smiles. Bob is the one that creates the frowns. And I can choose because that was my God given gift called free will. Thank you for taking the time to show me how the game works, not how you want me to work it. That's the razor's edge difference. But you showed me how it works. You believed in me. And I'm a little scientist. When I do it, I reap what I sowed. And when I sow this, I reap this. And he felt like for the first time in his whole life, that's what he was looking for to the age of 18. And he found it.
Yeah, absolutely. So Jessica says this all does make sense. And I have been struggling with my 4-year-old about how to be nice to his sister, but I need to sit down with him and show him, just play with them, show them how to play together. This has been the hardest part of my life since I brought the baby home. Yeah, I hear ya. I hear ya. It's like this. You become a parent. I'm the parent clinician. I've studied from the textbooks that the pharmaceutical industry wrote for parenting experts today. And I'm saying, hey, it's your job to go chop down the trees in the forest. And here is a very dull axe. And you're chopping and chopping and chopping at the one tree in the forest. There's probably 500 trees there. And you got this axe and you're chopping. And it's like, oh, this is so hard. I'm so exhausted. Now I'm the parenting expert going, just be more consistent. Just parent harder. Just be calm and patient. Keep going. Okay, it's so exhausting. Now, creating champions for life comes along, and we hand you a sharpened chainsaw, and you just get to go zing, 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 zing. That's the difference between authoritative parenting, call it attachment, call it gentle, call it whatever you want. You can put lipstick on a pig, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what color lipstick you put on the pig. At the end of the day, the pig is still a pig. Gentle parenting is still authoritative parenting, which is very manipulative and very controlling. In fact, Dr. Becky calls it authoritative control. I won't let you hit, and you take them by the arm or you physically remove them from. I won't let you do that. I need to maintain my boundary. Okay, so are we going to follow our kids around to play school, kindergarten, grade 1, all the way through high school and tell them what they can and cannot do all day? Or do we need to kind of like think and go, oh my God, my child would love to please me. My child's a little genius, just embracing their own uniqueness. And they need me to show them what to do so they can have the life skills to succeed in this world without me. That's what they're waiting for.
So many of us are maybe thinking, I wonder which missing parenting life skill I could find with this methodology or this program. Because once you've got it, it makes cooking so much fun when you have all the ingredients and somebody showed you the recipe of the ABCs and the 1, 2, 3s of how they work together, like the 12 notes create music.
So Haley, I really struggle putting boundaries and suitable consequences in place. Well, you struggle with that because why would we continually focus on what consequence to give my child for not following a boundary instead of showing them what they can create in their lives when they follow the boundary? Does this make sense? So the whole world's like, well, if they do something we don't like, they need some sort of consequence in the moment.
Negative
so
negative.
This is how we've been taught. So yeah, it's negative plus negative. The child does something we don't like, negative. Now we come across with some sort of consequence, something they don't like, which is a negative. Guys, this is mathematically solid. How would you ever take a negative add it to another negative and expect happy, peace, and harmony in your home. But what if every single thing that your child asked for was called a goal? And they get to actually, where's goal? Where's goal? I don't know. I lost my goal sign. There it is. Call a goal. That's called a goal. Look at you running around. That's called a goal. Let me show you where you can run and still earn iPad time this afternoon.
See, that's what they're missing is that next step. They already showed you how they're doing it.
Yeah, they're missing the positive plus positive formula.
That's right.
So with that being said, you guys, and the only reason that I plug our own books on these is because you need them. I'm morally obligated to get these into your hands. The Raising Healthy, Happy, Cooperative Kids book we wrote in 2018 because we know that you need a mindset shift before diving into the 12 principles of Learn to Speak Kid. We need a mindset shift, right? Like the same thinking. This is what Einstein said. The same mindset that creates the problem is the same mindset that can't fix it. Because if your mindset could fix what you were dealing with, why would you have ever created it in the first place? I love this testimony because this is from a teacher of 19 years. Thank you for obeying God. I have taught for 19 years and have been longing to know a better way to parent and teach. I currently have 3 degrees and soon a 4th, and have never come across any parenting information this real, relevant, and powerful. And that's this book, the little book you can read in a Saturday afternoon that tells you the cause of all child behavior disorders, the message from our children who are acting out, who are defiant, who are bringing guns to school, who are taking their own lives. You guys, there's a cause to this effect that's happening. And the magic formula, positive plus positive. Your child's goal plus a parent-approved proactive plan, including everything you want them to know. How to play with each other, how to walk inside the house, how to yell outside, whisper inside. These are all life skills that your child is longing to know. Mm-hmm. Right? So just stop coming in as a staff sergeant, start playing detective. What life skills are missing? What are they asking for that they can work towards? And, why we're here is we'll help you make a master family plan. That's what we do. You can read the book or you can hire us for mentoring. We have mentorship because I think it was Holly that said in the comments, I have a really hard time with this. I'm always looking to people please. And it's because, like Freud said, childhood trauma. Now we're taught all sorts of different things. Well, the dad left and now I'm a single mom. And so my child experienced trauma and that's why he's acting out. No, the biggest trauma our children can experience is being told no to something important to them rather than being shown what to do to make their goals show up.
Truth.
That's trauma. Coming in and grabbing their arm and doing consequences in the moment because it's your job to maintain boundaries. That's trauma. Being told that you have to be a certain way in order to be a good boy or girl and they're not that way. That's trauma. Being compared to another child. Why can't you be more like your brother? Look, he brings home straight A's and you just bring home straight C's. That's traumatic. All right. So that's our story for today. We've been a little over an hour. We talk to you all day long, but the mind can only handle what the butt can. That's about an hour. So I would appreciate you coming today. We need your help, by the way. Let me just say this. If you loved what you heard today, we need your help. Give us a love. Give us a comment. Ask a question for next week. Share the video out. If you're looking for help, you're like, oh my gosh, I love this stuff. I've been reading your book. I've been watching all your videos. I need help implementing. Send us a direct message. We're here to help you. We're easy to find. And with all that being said,
until we meet again,
here's
to our
parenting success.
Cheers.
Have a great week, everybody.
Bye for now.